You just gotta give them credit. They're playing. They're on a heater. They're in a groove. Just got to give them a ton of credit. Congrats to Mike and their staff. And I don't want to go like and detract from our what we've done this postseason. I think sometimes you got to give the other team credit for playing great basketball.
Why do you think ultimately your group came up short of reaching the finals this year?
I don't, I'll tell you what didn't help was losing those 2 game 6s. Haven't been in this, kind of a long time and seen this before. I think you have to take advantage of those opportunities. And the way the scheduling's set up in the league, and that's a whole nother topic I could go off on. You get on a hectic schedule, and that's not to say we win those games. We beat the Knicks. I'm not saying that, but I think it gives us a better chance. But I think the density of the frequency of the games, with it never had 2 days rest, the whole deal. Played a part in it. Definitely, I'm not going to say that's the reason we lost, but we would have had a better chance. I think we win. We take care of business in those game 6s. I think that's stuff. If I have one regret, 2 regrets, I guess you'd say.
Hey, Kenny.
Chris.
What are the emotions like as a coach when a season that you were proud of ends the way that this one did?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I mean, disappointed for the group. Listen, from a coaching standpoint, normally you'd say, man, I wish we had this, player-wise roster. I wish we had this. We didn't have this. I can't say that. Ownership and front office gifted us with a wonderful roster, talented roster. So I feel bad. I feel bad for the group. Because you want to fulfill, your expectations first of all. So, that's disappointing. I'll turn it positive though. We took a step. This is kind of how this works. You have to keep climbing. We are going in, obviously a positive direction. Fell short. There's no bigger motivator, right, to get to the next level. I think of this off season and development and how we got the sacrifice we're going to need to make to get to the next level. But I'm proud of this group in terms of how they fought through adversity. 1, 2 game 7s. We took a step. I think we took a step mentally, from a mental toughness point of view. So I'm going to kind of lean on that. And again, we all know there's another 2 steps really you got to take if that's the ultimate goal.
There's obviously a tough reality in the NBA. You guys have the highest priced roster. You're the only team in the second apron, and it's hard to stay there financially. How concerned are you that changes could come this offseason based on what happened in this series, and including your job security?
Listen, I have confidence in myself, first of all, confidence in the group, the roster. Talk, that's for down the line. Our front office has done a phenomenal job. Like I said, giving us a great roster. Obviously there'll be decisions to be made, like every summer. But I think we're doing pretty well with those decisions since I've been here. So just keep trusting our process, trust our collaboration.
Well, to Coach's point, really hard decisions this offseason, knocking on the door, so close to trying to win, an NBA championship right before the trade deadline, making the big splash for James Harden and falling just short. But you can see the excitement. Knicks fans have to be loving this. The history and tradition around.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
There's a couple of us inside the building.
He's just
But
happy as a clam. I don't even know what that means.
you threw this out here a little bit earlier. You said, like, they're playing as well as anyone, maybe the best basketball of any team. Yeah. I know both of you guys have loved what OKC has done the entire season, what San Antonio has done this entire season. Is it me, or does it feel like the Knicks may have an advantage? This is a 9-game layoff heading into this series. Sharp, pull off a sweep. 9-game layoff. June 3rd is game 1 of the finals. If the Western Conference Finals go 7, it's going to be like this the rest of the way. It feels like this is setting up nicely right now for New York.
I mean, the way the Western Conference Finals is going, it's super physical. Yeah. It's a battle. It's a real battle on the Western Conference. So, I think they'll be a beneficiary of a tired team, whatever team that may be. They get to rest. They get to kind of watch both teams and see how they, during the season, what worked for them.
Sure.
Going against them. But, yeah, those guys are beating up on each other pretty bad in the Western Conference. It's really competitive. And, you have a team on the other side that pretty much did work early. And they're just figuring out how to beat either one of them, whichever happens.
Stylistically, you always think about IT, and you've talked about this on the show. The matchups, it's meaningful. You might have a team that's really dominant, and maybe it's just a bad matchup. The way the Knicks have been able to pull off some of these wins, it feels like they can beat you in different ways. The depth of this roster has been there. The three-point shooting has been there. The evolution of Cat as a distributor has been there. We know they can win with Brunson in isolation. What's the Achilles heel for this team?
I think the biggest thing for them in their success throughout this time is, we've always known them as a defensive group. Offensively, they're playing different than they did in the regular season. So it was all eyes on Jalen Brunson all year long, and even early on in the playoffs. Now that they got Karl-Anthony Towns in a position where he's impacting winning other than scoring, playmaking, rebounding, being able to get others involved, it's opened it up and made things easier for everybody else. Now, Mikal Bridges just has to hit open shots. OG's hitting his open shots. Josh Hart has been hitting jump shots. When this team is hitting jump shots, on top of all the things that they do really well is attacking the paint, defending at a high level, being able to defend multiple positions, it says a lot, because we haven't seen this team, this Knicks team with this style of play this consistent for this long. And it says a lot about their coaching staff and their organization and the adjustment of the players this late in the season. So it's a lot that's going on over there, but they're, like we said earlier, they're playing the best brand of basketball no matter what's happening, matchups, other teams, playing 6 or 7 games, them not playing, or them having rest. It really doesn't matter when you're talking about the New York Knicks.
Yeah. The job that Mike Brown has been able to do with this team, Rudy, what stands out for a guy that's got experience, has done really well as a head coach, but he wasn't the first option. I don't know if he was the second or even third option. Knicks, remember last offseason, were getting rejected by teams. They wanted to go and talk to different coaches. That didn't happen, but yet it didn't matter. Mike Brown's led them to the finals.
Well, I mean, this is a guy that's done it before. And, it took some time, for his philosophy to work. This is the same team that maybe 2 or 3 months ago, Cat didn't really understand his role. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so right. It's it just goes to show trusting the process and becoming one. I think this team has had 3 different teams within this season. Yeah. Yeah. It took a minute for Mike Brown to understand his team. It took a minute for this team to understand Mike Brown. So this is the benefits of sticking with it, being mature, and also being a professional. So, we already knew they had the talent. They were 1 win away last year. Yeah. Just them being more cohesive as a team has really, really gotten them to the next level. And, who knows what happens in the next series, whoever that might be they're playing against. But, they've done a really good job of transforming their team.
An 11-game winning streak right now for the New York Knicks. You said 1 game away to getting to this point a season ago. They are 4 wins away now from winning their